Hey, hey, YouTube. This is Nia Tate. I'm here to do the review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 12. Okay, so this episode was kind of like a filler. Wasn't a whole lot going on, but here we go. So we first see Portia. She's talking with her mom, and they're at the house that she bought when her and after her and Cordell divorced, which is the first home that she was able to purchase on her own. And she is selling that home because she is going to take, living in the house that from the divorce of her and Simon. And she actually put that other house on the market, and her mom was living there. So uh, it seems that as soon as she put it on the market, people, it just went really quick. And she had a cash offer, so she had to take it. So she also talked to her mom about Dennis coming over and bringing the ring back. And her mom was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah." So she said, "How did it make you feel?" She said, I didn't feel no kind of way." She said, I just don't know where his head is at, but I am not um, trying to really be in a relationship with anybody. I'm enjoying my freedom right now." She said, "I like the fact that I can go out, have drinks with somebody, or have dinner, and just come home and get in my bed and, take my wig off and just relax and just be free in my own house." So I get that. I said, "Okay, Portia, I see it." So we also see Kelly. Kelly goes over to her financial advisor, and um, he goes over the budget with her, and she's definitely going to have to make some changes. She's going to have to, do a whole reset because of her divorce that's going on, and also one of her businesses, restaurants, is not doing well. So he goes over her budget plan. I appreciate that they're kind of showing Kelly that, showing that point of view from Kelly right now, because let's face it, with this economy and this life, a lot of women, especially sometimes due to divorce or just certain things, people have to do that. They have to sometimes regroup, and it's not all flash and success and all of that. Sometimes on these reality shows, quote unquote, they don't really show reality all the time. They just show, people who, are all from appearances are financially set. They have everything, all their ducks in a row. So I think a lot of women will be able to relate to Kelly, because it's not easy. It's very difficult, trying to reorganize your life, and come back from some financial setbacks. But I wish her all the best. I do. And she's kudos to her for being vulnerable and opening up herself, to that. Because people can be real cruel and real judgmental, well, why is she doing this? I'm sure that life happens, shit. Life happens, and sometimes you just have to, do your best to bounce back and then just keep pushing. So she seems to do that. And later we see her. Now she's still staying at Shamia's condo. It seems like she's trying to get out of there. Although she said Shamia told her she could, stay as long as she needed to. It seems like, I mean, it has to be a humbling experience for her also. I'm sure she like, I don't want to overstay my welcome. But her realtor took her around to this beautiful condo. But girl, that thing was $7,000 a month. I'm like, Kelly, I don't think so. She asked the realtor, who was also a good friend, and she's like, "Do you think I should, you know, that this is a good idea or whatever?" And she said, "Well, I'm gonna keep it real with you since you asked me. You're gonna have to do some downsizing, and you're gonna have to stay within your budget." And that definitely was out of her budget. So I think personally what she should do is maybe try to work something out with Shamia. I don't know. I don't know. And maybe she could stay there longer, definitely pay her some rent. But, um stay there for a little bit longer and then maybe try to get her finances together. Maybe I don't know how long it had been since the time she had just moved in. It didn't seem that long. Maybe she can do it like for a year. I don't know. Since sometimes the Lord send you help and you be too prideful, you don't want to take it. If Shamia ain't tripping, maybe like I said, they can work out something financially and then that'll help her get back on her feet. But yeah, that $7,000 apartment, girl, that is not gonna work, man. No. She even said, she said it's gonna be difficult for my kids, because they're used to living a certain lifestyle. And she showed back to when she was giving her daughter all those designer purses and stuff for her birthday. Girl, you're gonna have a talk with them. Them things is, you know, I'm not gonna say we ain't gonna never do it again, but as from here and now, we ain't doing that. No, ma'am. So next up, we see K Michelle. She's talking to her doctor, and she has had so many surgeries due to her implants, and so she's talking to the doctor about what she wants, and she's talking about some more implants. Like she says, she don't want of course the big curvy. She just want the little round athletic. Boutte. And the doctor told her, he said, I don't think it's a good idea. He said, but there is a different procedure now where they don't um put the fat, they don't, how they used to do it, they don't like take the fat from somewhere else and then put it, in the butt. He said that there's human fat on the shelf. I'm like, where the hell they getting the human fat from? And who is what? I don't know, child. Some kind of procedure. I don't know. But he said he didn't recommend her doing it at all. And I don't recommend her doing it at all. Because she said she didn't have 15 surgeries and she also is a chronic pain sufferer. Oh my gosh, Kay. Like she said she has a lot of scarring. Like, Kay, it's really sad because she's beautiful. And I know a lot of women go through that, you know. Man, just love yourself. Nobody is perfect. And the fact that she still wants to have some kind of surgery after all she's been through is like, no, okay. No. I'm not judging you, but I think she need maybe some counseling or something because at this point in time, you would have been through all of this, girl. Hang it up, flat screen. You don't need that. You don't need it. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Next, we see Angela, and Angela's talking to her daughter. Listen, this whole situation with her daughter, I don't understand. And the reason I feel I don't understand is because there's a huge chunk of information that we are not being given. Angela's trying to act like, oh, it's always been cool that my daughter's been gay. I've always been accepting of her and her friend. But it's not adding up, Angela, because why would your daughter not tell you if that was the case that she had gotten married? And now it's a point telling Angela's children, the kids, the younger kids in the family, that she's married because they think that the lady is her friend, oh, that's her friend, I don't know how old are those kids. I know one little boy was on the step and he looked like he what a teenager or something. This is the thing. I don't know why people act like children or young kids don't know what's going on. Them kids probably know that that ain't her friend. They already know, and they trying to hide the thing. And Angela's daughter herself is saying, "Well, I don't think they need to know. I'll probably just tell them in a couple of years." What? Like what? Why? And I don't think they're little kids. That's my thing. I think they're at least teenagers. I just don't understand. And so her and Angela kind of get into it about it. Then Angela has a counseling session with her. They ain't solved nothing as far as I'm concerned. Ain't nothing got solved. Like I said, it's just I really, let me tell you what I think, and I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not really feeling Angela. I don't. And especially after something that happened a little bit later in the episode. I think what's going on, Angela trying to save face. I feel like maybe when her daughter first told her or when she first found out. And I'm not judging her. I mean, that's her child. And if she may have felt a way about it, and maybe she had to kind of come into her acceptance of who her daughter is, and that's fine. Say that. But for her to say, well, I've never had an issue with her, being gay. We've always been open about it. That's not true, Angela. Something is missing because if it was, why does she have a problem telling you that she got married? Especially if it's somebody that she's known um ever since high school. I don't understand unless it was like if and then even one of the producers asked the daughter. They said, "Well, if it was a man that you were married to, y'all would tell him that y'all got married, right?" And she said, "Y- "Yes, but it's just that you know." I didn't even feel comfortable telling my mom. So that's the thing. Why didn't she feel comfortable telling you, Angela? That's what I don't get. That's what we missing. We missing something. And I get you don't want to say nothing because you don't want to I don't know, you don't want to get ostracized, but I think it would be better for you to be honest and tell the truth. There's nothing wrong with if you as a parent had some, you know, I don't want to say issue with it, but you had an adjustment for it, and then you grew to accept the young lady. That's fine. I mean, that's life. But it I don't know. The only other option would be if maybe the situation that her daughter is in had been a rocky relationship, because that could have even been with a young man. Like if she was in a relationship and she went and got married, and you knew that they had like a very rocky relationship, but they're not saying that. So I don't know. I just feel like if you're not gonna give us the whole story, then don't tell us nothing because I'm confused. I am confusion. Okay. So who do we see next? Is it the ladies? Oh yeah, Portia meets with that girl. What's her name? Drew. With Drew about having her own line with naked hair. Next, good for her. Next we see Shamia's getting her nails done. Her mom is there, and they're talking about the cast is actually going to Scotland, um, because that's a trip this year. And Portia and Phaedra did Traders. I didn't watch that season. I did watch, I think I watched the season with Teresa Judice. I think she was on there. I watched that one. Traders is a pretty good show, but I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't watch the one with Portia and them. So anyway, that's where that's filmed in Scotland. So they decided that they wanted to take the ladies to Scotland because they had such a great experience over there. So you know, Shamia said that the lady that was doing her nails was teasing her and said, they're gonna give you a hard time because they is on you, Shamia. And she ain't lying, they is on Shamia. And Shamia said, "Well, I hope we can have a good time. I'm trying to be positive about it, and I even, was trying to be kind to Angela because, I know what it's like to no, she said not. She said, I'm trying to be kind to Angela. She's lost her mother, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So scene, we see the ladies at the Bailey Bowl. The Bailey Bowl is a annual event that Cynthia Bailey has, and she does it usually for some like a charity event. And so this year she is doing it in honor of Angela's mother, and I think her mama's name was Mabel. I'm not sure. I think so. They're gonna have like a celebrity Well, not they're gonna have like a basketball game. I was gonna say a celebrity basketball game. I guess they the celebrities. So each of the housewives have to bring, you know, um, four other people so they could have a team and they play against each other. So they all the ladies, come together. And Angela's husband, Charles Oakley, he is going to be the referee. Now, I know there may be some younger fans who are not familiar with Angela's husband, Charles Oakley, but yeah, Charles Oakley is the real deal. Charles was a real deal Holyfield basketball player. He was excellent. he could play, and I used to really enjoy watching Charles play. Now he was fiery on the court. He good for a couple of fights. Now he gonna get it in, but basketball wise, Charles was that dude. Okay, so all the teams get together. They all give them little. Angela gives them little nicknames. She gives I forgot what she said. K Michelle. K Michelle always thinks everybody's against her. So I think they gave her team opposition or something like that. And then she said, "Yeah, well, Shamia always is commenting on my feet, always commenting on my feet. So I'm gonna give her a team Sasquatch." And Angela, when she was in the confessional with Charles, she was like, she always commenting on how big my feet are. And Charles said, "Well, we know, your feet are, a certain size. I mean, he said you can't have a smaller foot, a 6 or 7, because you would tip over." I thought that was funny, and she just kind of looked at him like, Charles, like, girl, yeah, it is what it is. So they had their little game, their little celebrity game. It was cute. Portia bought Mike. I guess they still kind of seeing each other, and man, one thing about Portia gonna show that body yaddy yaddy, okay? She had that little cutoff shirt on. I'm like, girl, Portia gonna come around your man, around your husband, half dressed. She gonna do it. I'm telling you, she gonna do it. I don't care where it's at. It could be at the church house. It could be, it could be at the house, wherever it's at. Yeah. So it was cute. They all played against each other. Cynthia was there with her man that we met a couple of episodes ago. Um, Peggy and her husband was there. K Michelle was there. Was K Michelle husband there? I don't remember. But Shamia was there. Her husband wasn't there. Um, because Angela asked for him, "Well, where's your husband?" And she said he had to work. So then at the end of after the games was over with and everything, um, they were all standing around talking, and here go Angela. Well, you said that I came for your marriage because they showed a scene where the bone catcher Cynthia and Angela had evidently had a conversation about Shamia saying that Angela came for her marriage. And here go Angela. Well, I just want to bring that up because when did I do that? I don't understand what she mean. Did she say I came for her marriage? Nah, Angela. Come on, Angela. You said that lady was working for the Atlanta basketball team um because she was sleeping with the basketball players. You said that on national TV, and you gonna sit your big footed self there and try to act like, what did I say? Girl, girl. And so Shamia told her what she said. And then she still got smart. Shamia said, "Well, you said that I was sleeping with the basketball players, and I thought that was very hurtful to my marriage." Well, like in other words, well, did you, Angela? That's not cool. Listen, I don't like the way they treat Shamia. I don't know why everybody has turned on Shamia. I'm gonna be honest. I like Shamia better when she was a friend of the show. However, I get that she did turn up last season, but that was last season. And she is not a saint by far, but I do feel like they ganging up on her. And Angela, I don't know why you giving that lady so much smoke. You know why I think you giving that lady so much smoke? So we can't focus on your mess. Okay, we want to tell us about your daughter. Tell us about that. Why don't you have that? Why don't you tell us about that? Tell us about your daughter. You ain't got no storyline. What's your storyline, Angela? Because last year it was your financial stuff about the houses wasn't selling, and then your mom was there. You could talk to her. Unfortunately, your mom's passed away. And then it was your marriage. Charles must have told you, listen, if you're gonna be on this show, leave me out of it. I don't leave me out of it. So you got to find something to talk about. So now you come at, well, let me see who I could come at so I can have it. It's getting tired and it's worn. And the reads are tired and worn. And you did come for Shamia marriage in a bad way. You know, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So then they also, who else? they said, "Well, what about you and Drew, Shamia?" And she said, "Well, I thought we was fine until she called me a lapdog again." So apparently they kind of worked that out. And then Peggy goes, "Well, what about you and K Michelle?" And Shamia said, "What about me and what's wrong with me and K Michelle?" And so they showed a flashback where K Michelle said that she felt like Shamia had said, um, "Nobody wants you to be my friend." And so they kind of talked. Shamia's like, "You know what? I In a confession, she said, everybody's jumping on the hate train. When one person have an issue with somebody, then everybody else comes. It's like, what's going on? So I do feel like they are targeting Shamia. Everybody's coming at her. And Portia, I don't care what nobody say. I do feel like Portia done pulled some of the strings. She could sit there and, people gonna say, "Oh, she ran. She got out the room when they were talking about Shamia." Yeah, that was on camera, but off camera, we see where they have different. You know, them people. I want to see the text messages. Let me see your phone, Portia, because I guarantee you there was some strings being pulled. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was Shamia, but I don't know, I would say this: Shamia don't need the money, evidently. I mean, don't get me wrong. It ain't bad money to have. And in a way, I feel like, girl, don't let them trick you out your spot. But then in a way, I feel like, girl, you ain't got to put up with that. Your husband got two jobs. There's a reference to everybody here. Chris, his mama would, if you watch that show every season, his mama would quit a job because Chris Chris Rock, his daddy had two jobs. So whenever they get on her nerves at a job somewhere, and it would always come somewhere throughout the season. She would have a new job every season. So somewhere it kind of sometimes be the beginning, the middle, and end. Somewhere throughout the season, they was gonna make her mad, and she was gonna put that line. I ain't gotta put up with this. My man got two jobs. And she would quit. Shamia, you ain't gotta put up with this. Maybe you should just be a friend to the show. But you know what? I don't know, and I feel like that's why I say Portia never wanted her on there anyway. Portia said it out of her own mouth that this is my thing. As a friend, I would think that you. And I thought that was like real selfish of her. Like, come on now. I don't know. I don't like the way she's being treated. And Shamia does give as good as she can get, but it's just getting tired now. It's getting tired. We need something new to talk about. I don't know. I don't know how this whole trip to Scotland is gonna be. Hopefully they can come to some resolve. I doubt it, but I'm kind of getting bored. I'm getting bored. So we shall see. But that was the episode. I'm gonna give this episode a C. Because I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't giving nothing. It was a filler episode. So thank you guys so much for listening to my review. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I will be back here next week. I'm out.